There comes a point of collapse in a narcissist's life when all the avenues of supply generation fail them, when their delusions of grandeur are conflicted by the reality of their weaknesses, when they become a scared little mouse cornered trying to grab onto something for survival and prevent the total disintegration of their false self. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional, and today's episode we're going to talk about something very interesting. We're going to talk about 5 telltale signs of narcissistic collapse. Before we get started, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel by pressing the subscribe button and push that bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post on this channel. Also, if you're listening to this episode on a podcast channel, make sure to subscribe and follow as well. Number 1, complete withdrawal. By nature, a narcissist is other focused, meaning they have to have someone in their life that keeps them distracted away from their failed true self. But when everyone leaves, especially in their old age, when they are left on their own, they have no option other than sitting with their suppressed and rotten trauma that comes up to the surface. And when that happens, it shatters their narcissistic defenses and catatonically depresses them. And that leads to loss of interest in everything, which becomes withdrawal, leading to further irreversible collapse or self-awareness in a very few cases. Number 2, hyper-irritability, bitterness, and uncontrolled outbursts. The loss of power, strength, vitality, control, and recognition makes a narcissist realize that they have miserably failed in maintaining the never-ending, everlasting control. They become irritable, more bitter than ever, and their rage takes over, since the once powerful narcissist is now a weakling. A weakling who cannot reverse their story. A weakling who has to express this anger towards self for having failed and project it onto the others. And the object that receives this projection can be anyone or anything in their proximity. It could be you, it could be their dog, it could be the neighbor, it could be a random stranger. They become the worst and the most bitter form of themselves. Before we move to the point number 3, I am curious if you witnessed the narcissist collapsing. If you did, drop your experiences in the comments below. Number 3, euphoric recall of the glory days. When the present does not serve the narcissist escapes to the past and revives the feelings of power and control by remembering what they did and how they used to command people around, how they used to terrorize people. They obsessively ruminate on these experiences and talk about them with almost everyone they can to get supply from within. In fact, they make themselves the source of supply when they can't find it on the outside. To explain this point further, I have an experience to share with you. A couple of years ago, I went to an event where my grandfather, who's a collapsed malignant narcissist, was also present. He was sitting in a room filled with people, and when I entered the room, I greeted everyone, including him. But I knew that his ego was fragile, so I personally went and greeted him and said hi to him, especially to make him feel special and better than the rest. After a couple of hours, he called me in a gathering of people. He just pointed out and just called me towards himself. And when he did, he started berating me quite out loud in a very uncontrollable manner, berating me for not greeting him, for not saying hi to him. To my defense, I reminded him that I did so. On that, he got even more enraged because I was questioning his memory, which clearly was not functioning since he was very old. And he then started glorifying his past days and how powerful he used to be and how he used to terrorize people and how his voice was a symbol of fear for so many people. He did it shamelessly, as if he was trying to bring those days back, but in a very helpless manner could not do so. This example just shows us how much they want to be who they used to be once they are collapsed. They want to go back and bring those days back to life and live them, because when they used to have those experiences, their false self was quite intact. They were full of supply. They used to just play with people like objects and toys. From the story, we can learn two things. Number one, narcissist's defenses are still intact in some capacity even when the narcissist has collapsed. And number second, if they have nothing to take supply from, they would take it from within their own experiences, from their own past memories, from their own old stories that they have created in their head. Number 4, compulsive behavior intensifies. To rebury what was unearthed by the collapse, they become more compulsive than ever. Their addictive behaviors take over and they take part in high-risk behaviors like gambling, drinking, rash driving, and using drugs. The calculatedness in their behavior is gone and they are more reactive to their environment in general. Their addiction becomes quite dynamic and it keeps shifting from one thing to the other, from food to pornography to self-sabotage of any kind. Number 5 and the last one. Extreme form of persecutory paranoia. Someone has persecutory paranoia when they're constantly thinking about how others are plotting against them and how others are trying to attack them. And when narcissists get to this point of collapse, it becomes 10 times more. Because narcissists are paranoid in general. But when they collapse, they turn into this wounded animal that becomes more dangerous than ever. Because they feel super vulnerable at this point, their narcissistic defenses are intensified and their delusions and paranoias become more rigid and psychotic. They think everybody is into planning and plotting against them. Everyone is just trying to hurt them in one or the other way. They could come up with bizarre paranoias like government is listening to them through their mobile phone. They are listening to them through the radio. You are plotting against them with other people and you want to just take away what they have. You are plotting and planning against them because you are jealous of their happiness. The neighbor is going to kill their dog. You are going to do this, they are going to do that, and the list goes on and on and on. They do not stop. At this point, it's like this person, the narcissist, turns into a crazy being that is completely out of control. It becomes absurd at this point, and they turn into this being who has lost it all. I hope you found today's episode insightful. Drop your experiences in the comments below and share this one with others. I'll talk with you very soon in the next one. Till then, let the healing begin.